Thank you very much. It's a real honor to be here today with my friends and colleagues and mentors, Professors Barry Barish, Ray Wise, and Kip Thorne, who are also the winners of this year's Nobel Prize. We are very honored to be here and be awarded the Princesa of Asturias Award. This is a magical time for gravitational wave astrophysics. 2 years ago, we discovered the first detection for the collision of two black holes. 2 months ago, we discovered the first signal from the collision of two neutron stars and the light that was produced at the same time. There is a wealth of discovery, lots of science that's coming from these two discoveries. As I said, it's a magical time, and we are very happy to be able to share this with all of you. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Comenzamos con el turno de preguntas. Primera pregunta, por favor. Jaime.
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. Soy Jaime Martín de la agencia EFE. Me gustaría saber, aunque sea un tópico, cuáles son los nuevos retos de la astrofísica, ¿no? Hacia dónde se dirige con sus descubrimientos. En un plazo de 10, 20, 30 o 40 años, ¿a dónde nos van a conducir estas investigaciones desarrolladas por ustedes?
Yes, so the discovery of gravitational waves per se was a breakthrough moment. We started learning new things about the existence of black holes, the properties of black holes. That marked the beginning of a new era for us. Right now, what we have done in these past 2 months, identifying the collision from neutron stars and the radioactive, electromagnetic radiation that was produced in the same collision, has really given us a new tool. So now, looking forward in the future, we are expecting once the LIGO and Virgo detectors will achieve sensitivity in the next couple of years, and the network of detector is going to increase. We're planning to have new detectors in India. There is one in construction in Japan. We're looking forward to a scenario where there are going to be many detectors, and we're going to be working with the astronomy community to follow up and explore in bigger detail what's the origin of these black holes, what are their properties, what can we learn from the study in the afterglow of the neutron stars? So we already had lots of information coming. There are some mysteries that opened up. So we're really starting to now explore the properties of gamma ray bursts and all these other objects that were not as well known. Gravitational waves are giving us information on the source themselves. We're also still looking forward to finding signals from the stochastic background of gravitational radiation, signals from pulsars. So we really just acquire a new sense onto the universe, and we're looking forward to this multisensorial experience that's going to come from studying it.
Gracias. Siguiente pregunta, por favor.
Sí, Covadonga Jiménez, del diario La Nueva España. ¿Qué importancia le dan a la divulgación de todos estos hallazgos y si creen que ahora mismo hay un mayor interés de la población por la astrofísica?
Chip, you take that?
It was quite startling to see the enthusiasm around the world at the time of the first discovery of gravitational waves. The first binary black hole collision with its chirp was in the headlines of essentially every major newspaper throughout the world. I find it wonderful that the general public has embraced this and follows with such great interest what is going on. It is, in some sense, an icon for human curiosity quite generally that this has been so widely disseminated and so successfully. And we thank the press, the media, for their role in this.
Ay, perdón. Siguiente pregunta, por favor. Sí.
Max Álvarez, de la Televisión del Principado de Asturias. Profesor Thor, ¿qué labor juegan los científicos a la hora de divulgarlo en el cine, como has hecho con la película, asesorando la película Interstellar?
So I was involved in the movie Interstellar, as you know. And in this particular case, the real science was integrated into the film from the very beginning. I was involved in advising and interacting with and brainstorming with the Nolan brothers as screenwriters and as directors. And the enthusiasm within the movie-making community for having real science as part of this film, and film in general, is very high. I think the key role of films like this are to inspire young people, particularly about science. It's not very, you can't do much real education, but you can inspire. And I think that there have been a number of films in recent years that have done this well. Let me just add a personal remark. How else could I possibly reach 100 million people as a professor of physics except through Hollywood?
¿Más preguntas? Jaime.
Sí, a cualquiera de los premiados. Me gustaría saber si han dicho de que este hallazgo de las ondas gravitacionales abre una nueva ventana al universo. Me gustaría saber en qué proporción, qué parte del universo se conoce ahora, si se conocerá algún día lo que es el universo, todos los secretos del universo.
Should I try to take that?
Go ahead.
That's a little hard question. I mean, we are going to be looking at around things we already know, like, for example, what Laura just told you about, namely, we knew about neutron stars. We learn a lot more about them by doing it by the gravitational window. And we also knew a little bit about black holes before this, but we didn't know they lived in pairs. That's a nice thing that was discovered by the act of looking at them by gravitational waves. And we hope with this technique to look at things that we also know but in new ways. For example, someday there may be a supernova, and we might catch it with a gravitational wave detector. And that'll tell us exactly what's going on inside the supernova. You can't do that with optical astronomy. And eventually, as the technology gets better and better, and it's not something we can do now, we might be able to look at the gravitational radiation that accompanied the very moment that the universe was created. That, to me, to all of us, is an extremely exciting prospect. It's not something we're going to be doing right away. But it is that sort of thing with the development of these technologies that will be open to gravitational waves because they are so penetrating. They go through everything. Nothing stops them. So consequently, you can, in principle, look all the way back to the beginning with these waves and never have them be scattered or attenuated by the things between us and their source. And that's so profound in terms of the depth of knowledge you might get. And the last thing, and Kip has been saying this for years, is that we might discover things we know nothing about at all. In fact, we fully expect that there'll be things that we will be puzzling over. We see waves, we see signals coming in, and we don't understand them, and we're going to have to figure out what they are, and that's going to be the biggest challenge of all. Yeah.
Siguiente pregunta, por favor. Pues bueno, la agencia F, que está muy participativa.
Sí, Ustedes comparten premio Princesa de Asturias con una teóloga británica premiada con el Premio de Ciencias Sociales. Me gustaría saber qué relación mantienen ustedes con la relación, si todas estas investigaciones que están desarrollando son compatibles con la existencia de Dios.
Oh my God. What's that one? I don't think anybody wants that question.
Let me just say, I don't see any incompatibility with the existence of some versions of God. But as a scientist, I believe that if there is a God, if there were a God, the God would have to operate through the laws of nature that govern the universe.
¿Más preguntas? ¿Alguien más que no sea Jaime desea preguntar algo? Pues bueno, en vista de que tenemos tiempo, que no se ha agotado, voy a permitirme formular yo una última pregunta a los galardonados. Toda una vida dedicada al estudio de la astronomía, ¿qué ha supuesto para ustedes que el nuevo hallazgo anunciado el lunes haya coincidido con su llegada aquí a Oviedo para recoger el premio Princesa de Asturias de Investigación Científica y Técnica?
I'll answer it. I think three of us are pretty old. We've been doing science a long time. And we're lucky this particular, not this finding, but the finding 2 years ago and this finding is a culmination, but not a necessary culmination personally. I think what people should realize is we are very lucky. We do an occupation that we love, and which is driven by curiosity, driven by our love of technology, our love of learning something new. And I've been asked this many times. I haven't worked on it as long as my colleagues here, but over 20 years. And how could I stay with it 20 years? It's because what we do day by day, month by month, year by year has so many challenges and satisfactions that the finding in the end, which is shared by everybody, is of course our goal to do great science, but being a scientist is a privilege if you're able to do it in the way we have in our careers.